In the last few years, there has been a growing interest in the field of manifesting. So much so that from international TV host Oprah Winfrey to Bollywood star Alia Bhatt, many celebrities have spoken about how they manifested their dreams into reality and changed their life for the better. So, what is manifestation? How does it actually work? And are there any limitations to it? Answering some of these questions today, we have with us the queen of manifesting, Roxie Nafousi, who recently released her book, Manifest: 7 Steps to Living Your Best Life. In this book, she writes about the 7-step guide for everyone who wants to feel empowered in their lives. Roxy is a celebrity influencer on Instagram, a self-development coach, and an advocate for mental and physical well-being. Welcome, Roxy. We're very happy to have you with us. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here too.
So, Roxy, we'll start off with the most obvious question. We'll start off by talking about what is manifestation. Would you like to define it for us?
Yeah, so manifesting is using the power of your mind to change and create the reality you experience. And to manifest literally means to make it happen. And to me, manifesting is a self-development practice. It's actually a way of living. And it really filters into absolutely everything that you do day to day. So it's a practice that means so much to me. And I'm so honored anytime I have the opportunity to talk about it.
How did you set out on this path of spiritual growth and discovery and into manifesting? Would you like to tell us about that?
So I had really never known happiness ever in my life. I had started rejecting myself from very early on. I was an Iraqi growing up in the UK, when the Iraqi war broke out, all Arabs and Muslims were seen as terrorists, but especially Iraqis at that time. And I was subject to a lot of racial bullying. And I changed my name from Rowan to Roxy. I started rejecting who I was and my identity. And that led to depression. And eventually, by the time I was 21, I was addicted to cocaine and alcohol, cigarettes. And I stayed in that addiction for another almost decade. One thing that throughout that time had been my safe space was yoga. I discovered Iyengar yoga when I was 21, and that was kind of one place that I could just be myself and be vulnerable and open. And so I always kind of felt like in part I had this affinity to wellness and spirituality and well-being, but I was too distracted with hedonism to be able to actually allow it to make me feel better. And then after many, many rock bottoms, I had called a friend of mine and I said, look, what do? I feel like my life is never going to get better. I feel like things are hopeless and I can't live like this anymore. And she said, oh, I just listened to this podcast on manifesting. You should listen. So I said, okay, I'll try anything. And I listened to this podcast and something in me just clicked. And what it was that I realized that everything came down to self-worth. And of course, I had absolutely no self-worth. So perhaps I was manifesting, but in the wrong direction. So I went away and I started really researching everything I could on manifesting. And I realized that all these great philosophers and thinkers and gurus were speaking about manifesting, even if sometimes they weren't using word. It was really all falling under the same umbrella. And I immersed myself in the self-development and self-help kind of arena and learn as much as I could through the form of books, podcasts, YouTube motivational videos, whatever I could, and decided that as I started using the steps myself, I would try to help other people use them too. And slowly but surely built my career, which I don't even feel like it is a job, but it's my purpose.
So that's beautiful. That's amazing, actually, that on the process of learning, you also started teaching others. How long did this entire process take? From the time you started, on this path, when you first heard about manifestation, and to the time when you actually started helping people?
Well, it was quite quick, actually. So I learned about manifesting and a few months later, I started something called Agni Sundays on my Instagram. And I just had this idea one day. And I always say ideas are like gifts from the universe. When they come to you, you should act on them. So I had this idea, like, I really love giving people advice and I really love helping others anyway. I'm just going to start a column, like, the question box on Instagram, and see if anybody wants to ask me something and I could give them advice. And it was just simple as that. And a few people asked me a question, and then the next week, a few more people. And every week I was just giving this advice. Then I started, I was watching people like Brené Brown, Jay Shetty, Tony Robbins, and I was really inspired by them as speakers and inspirational speakers. And I thought, wow, like, this is what I want to do. Mm-hmm. So just over a year and 5 months after I first heard about manifesting, I decided to host my own self-development workshop. It was a self-love workshop. And that was my first workshop. And it had built, the people that came were the community I'd built, a small community from these Instagram Ask Me Anything. And then it all kind of, from there, I hosted lots of workshops. Then it went into webinars. I was writing for as many people as I could. I've always loved writing. And yeah, it was just a very organic growth.
Yeah, but what I find amazing is that from a place of total darkness and despair, you were able to pull yourself up and start learning. On the path of learning, was it only through podcasts and reading up that you took your inspiration, or were there people around you who inspired you as well? Were there people you reached out to when you had problems and they gave you the right answers and that helped you along?
It's a good question. I've never been asked that. Actually, I would say there was only really one person. I mean, of course, like, everyone I meet will teach me something because I'm open to it. So whether I'm having a conversation with somebody I just met, or I'm meeting someone, or, like, whatever it is, there's always someone who gives you that nugget of information. But in terms of the one person that I would say that was in my life that really inspired me, it was actually Wade. And Wade, I met him 2 weeks after I discovered manifesting, and we now have a baby boy, Wolf, together. But he has been somebody that he is also very interested in this, in self-help and wellness, but he has a way of helping me see different perspectives. He has supported my personal growth in so many ways. And that's why my second book is actually dedicated to him, because without him, I don't think I would be where I am. But mostly it was him, but mostly it was learning from lots of different teachers.
You do believe that the universe sends you along a soulmate, somebody who will help you along the path of life, somebody who you needed in your life at that particular moment, and at the right time the person appears.
I think right? So, and I think we can have many soulmates. I think we can have people in our lives that actually we may only encounter briefly, but they leave such a lasting impact on us, or they teach us something that changes the course of our life forever.
Absolutely. And do you believe in the power of names? Like, you changed your name. At what age did you change your name? Like, were you very young or recently?
I was 11. Yeah, it was because I was going to change schools and I didn't want people to associate me with being Arabic when they met me. So I changed my name. But, it's funny, my family still call me Rowan, and everybody else calls me Roxy. But yeah, for some time I thought, oh, at home I'm Rowan and in public I'm Roxy. But now I feel that I've aligned with my authenticity, and now they are the same person.
So who do you feel more like? Do you feel more like Rowan, or do you feel more like Roxy? Most of the time.
I've never been asked this either. I love this. I've done so many interviews. It's so nice to have new questions. And, I think in my heart, I am Rowan. Like, I'm both versions. Everybody has, I think, a version of themselves that I often say to people, who is the favorite you? Because we all have different versions of ourselves. And the favorite me is the me at home with my family and Wolf, my son, and my sisters, and all Wolf's cousins. And that is the favorite me, because it's the me that is the most at peace and content and feels totally free to be myself. It's comfortable. But then I also love the other version of me, which is the me outside of that, who is here to do my best and hopefully inspire others and, socialize and, have all these different characters. But yeah, Rowan is probably who I am at my heart.
Yeah, I love that. I love the fact that we all do have multiple dimensions of our personality. And I love this question that you ask. I'm going to spend some time thinking about it. Who is the favorite version of me? Who
Yeah.
is, yeah. So that's interesting. So when you named your son Wolf, what characteristics were you thinking about that you would like to impart to him, or the personality traits that you felt he would pick up from the name Wolf?
I wanted him to have an unusual name, and I wanted it to feel like one that stood out and that came from, I hope that he will just have like an inner strength and an ability to just be whoever he wants to be. And having this kind of like, yeah, I think that's it really. And that's the best we can hope for our children. And I have to say, actually, when I look at Wolf, and obviously he's only been alive since I have been a different person. I say that was my old life, and my new life has been since Wolfie, when I obviously much more positive, much happier. Manifesting is the way I conduct my life, and it's very beautiful to see how that's influenced him. I'm never prouder than when he is such a positive person. He's always saying, oh, mummy, I love this. This is the best. He's so positive in the way he speaks, and I'm so happy. It just makes me feel so proud.
Yeah. When you gave birth to Wolf, he gave birth to you, the mother.
Oh, yeah.
And
exactly.
as a mother, do you feel a changed woman since you became a mother?
100%. Actually, like, I never feel happier than when I'm with him, because I think, if we're really honest, there's so much pressure, I think, on women to care about the way that we look or the things that we do, or all of these things that really don't matter. And when I'm with my son, none of that matters. I feel completely loved, and I love for just who I am as my soul, not for any of the external reasons. And he makes me the most soft, patient version of myself. And yeah, I definitely think Wolf is one of my soulmates, and I see our love grow every day. It's so special.
Yes, how wonderful. I think that's the best thing that children teach their parents. It's patience.
Yeah.
Patience. You really become, like you said, softer and a more patient version of yourself.
Definitely. Because I used to always be in a rush. You're always in a rush, like, oh, we've got to get here, we've got to get here. But then when you've got a 4-year-old who's stopping every second to look at the snails, or, look at the trees, it teaches you to be present. You have to be slower with them.
Mm-hmm. So coming back to manifestation, can we manifest things for our loved ones? Like, are you able to manifest something for Wolf, for instance?
So I don't believe that we can manifest for other people, but I believe that we can lead by example, and we can show people how magical this practice is, how incredible it is. And we can have a positive influence on the people in our lives. And in turn, they will be better able to manifest for themselves.
Yeah, that's a very powerful thing to do, to be able to teach people by experience. And you are teaching lots of people through your writing and through your workshops, of course. Coming to your 7 steps, how did you think of those 7 steps? How did you come upon them?
So as I mentioned before, when I did my first workshop, it was self-love, and that was November 2019. And for my next workshop, I wanted to do something different. And I said to my audience, I said, oh, guys, I've been practicing this thing called manifesting. Should I do a workshop on it? And they said, yeah. We would love to know what this thing is that you are saying is so amazing. So I said, okay, well, how I kind of announced the event. I said, it's going to be a manifesting workshop. And I thought, how am I going to explain manifesting, because it's such a full practice? There's so many elements to it. Every time I hear someone speak, there's something different, and so it's so expansive. So I thought, well, I'm going to split it into 7 steps, and I'm going to make it a really digestible and practical approach so that people can understand everything. And I was going on a walk when all my best ideas come to me when I'm walking, when I'm out in nature. And I had the notes on my phone, and I was speaking with Wade. And within, honestly, 5 minutes, we had the 7 steps to manifesting. So I truly feel that they were sometimes, like I said this about writing the book, I feel like it was channeled through me. I feel like this is so what I'm supposed to be doing on this earth, that I've just gone into flow and somehow it's just been channeled. And I said to people, everything you need to know is in these 7 steps. And then I'll be honest, I panicked because that's a bold statement to make. And so when I'd listen to other people talk about manifesting, I'd hope that something wasn't not in my 7 steps. But really, time and time again, as much as I listen, as much as I'm still learning, everything really does go into one of these 7 steps. And it really is a full and complete picture of the practice.
Mm-hmm. And these are the 7 steps that you followed to be able to reach the stage where you are right now.
Yes,
right?
I've used these 7 steps. I live and breathe them. I truly do. And it is like, sometimes people say to me, oh, what can people do every day to manifest? And I say, well, there are lots of things you can do, but it's not manifesting isn't a ritual. There are rituals that support it, but actually these 7 steps, they come into everything that you do, the way you treat yourself, who you spend time with, how you speak to yourself, how much exercise you do, how well you fuel your body. Everything comes into this practice.
Yes, truly. It is more a way of life that you're teaching through your book, Manifest. It's if you follow this, you impact every aspect of your life, really. So we begin with self-love, because you say that unless you love yourself, you cannot manifest for yourself. So what is a good space to start on the journey of self-love?
Well, I think this really is kind of the step 2, remove fear and doubt. It's about understanding that we all have these limiting beliefs that are currently blocking us from having the life that we want. It's all our insecurities and low self-worth, and we've developed these over years. And so we're trying to basically uncondition ourselves and come back to our childlike self, which is full of confidence and feels that we are enough, because we are all enough. But somewhere along the way, we stop believing that. And there are 2 kind of main ways that we can do this and come back to this self-loving self. And one way is to look at how we can reprogram our subconscious beliefs. And we can do this with using things like affirmations, being very, very mindful of the way that we speak to ourselves, because our subconscious is listening to everything we say. And so there's lots of kind of practical tools in the book that you can use. But it's also about really going deeper into that, which is about unlocking the wounds, healing those wounds which began, those limiting beliefs, and where that stemmed from. And that comes from self-awareness and, anything that you can do to help you on that journey, whether that's working with therapists, healers, counselors, to really unlock that inner self.
And you talk about meditation also as a tool to understanding yourself better and being able to manifest what you really want from life, to know what you want and to go ahead and ask for it. What kind of meditation do you practice or even teach others?
Yeah, so I think the meditations in manifesting come in 2 ways. In one sense, using just like, I love just doing breath work, or just, doing a meditation on my own where I just focus on my breath. And for me, that's all about clarity of mind. It's about helping me to create space for new ideas, create space to problem solve, give myself an opportunity to let go of the stress and the chatter in my mind. It helps me to cope with negative thinking or those, looping thoughts that you get. And so it benefits me in all those ways. But it's also a very powerful way to do a visualization meditation. And that's where we can actually really get that clarity on the things that we want in our lives, but really more importantly, the way we want to feel. And we can immerse ourselves in the feeling of the future, imagining ourselves in our dream life and knowing what does that feel like. And then in that sense, we can start to change our vibration. And therefore, we're automatically starting to create that manifesting process. We're starting to get that ball rolling already. There's a great quote from Bob Proctor who says, if you can see it in your mind, you can hold it in your hands. And I absolutely love that.
Yes. So just, Roxy, I'd like to understand this a bit. And of course, I read about it in your book, but for our viewers, when you talk about vibrations and you talk about how each emotion has a different vibration, how does that vibration then connect with the universe? How do you think things happen for us after that?
So everything in the universe is made up of energy, you know, absolutely everything, the sky above us, the sea below us, and also our thoughts and emotions. And what differentiates things and thoughts and feelings and emotions is the density and vibrational frequency of the atoms. And you have emotions that have a high vibrational frequency, like love, peace, acceptance, joy, and you have things that have a low vibrational frequency like shame, guilt, anger, resentment. And the law of attraction says that like attracts like. So if you are operating at a high vibrational frequency, you will attract things that match that frequency. And for me, it kind of feels like you attract back into your life the energy that you put out and the energy that you are. And so it's really being mindful of like, how often are you sitting in this space of anger, of resentment, of bitterness, of envy, of shame? And how much can we actually change that and make an effort to sit instead in the space of appreciation, gratitude, love, joy. And we can train our bodies, we can train our minds to actually be more inclined to sit in those spaces. And as we do, you know, good things start to happen. We start to attract better things into our life. It's, you know, one of my steps is all about gratitude, because gratitude is one of the highest vibrational frequencies. And there's that great, my mom always used to say to me, for every thanks you give, you get 1,000 in return. And I truly believe that, you know, the more grateful we are, the more the universe or life will give us more to be grateful for.
Roxy, one often hears that it is people who, the people who get onto a spiritual path are coming from a space of sadness, of loss, of grief. Can this journey begin from a happy space as well?
Yeah, absolutely. I think there are some people who already feel real joy and peace in their lives, and they just want to enhance that. They just want to cultivate that and put it towards something. They want to use that good energy and that good feeling and direct it to making their lives even better.
Yeah. Yeah. So you think happy people can also get onto this path and make manifest what they want and make it happen for themselves.
Everybody can use it. Happy, sad, whatever you are, it will benefit you.
All right. So you say control your thoughts. You say change your thoughts. How difficult? I mean, I think it is very difficult to be able to change your thoughts. And also part of the same question, a lot of us, I mean, I think almost everybody, we are plagued by scary thoughts sometimes. You know, thoughts about your loved ones, about loss, about things that you don't want to happen, but these thoughts keep popping in your head. So by allowing those kind of thoughts, are we not manifesting the bad things in life? And how can we change that?
No, we're not, because we don't manifest from our thoughts. We manifest what we believe, because we have over 60,000 thoughts a day. So if we were manifesting everything we thought about, everything would be in chaos. It wouldn't be possible. We manifest what we believe. So it comes from our belief system. So of course, when we have a belief, let's say that we are unworthy or that we aren't good enough, we end up manifesting that into our lives. We keep ourselves stuck in a place that supports that belief. And to change our belief systems, we have to be able to be more conscious of our way of thinking. We have to send positive messages to our brain. We have to reprogram our subconscious beliefs through repeated thought and action. And a belief is just a thought that's been repeated so many times that it becomes a belief. But that self-awareness and that management of our mind is integral. And of course, it's not easy. It takes a lot of practice and commitment, and you have to be committed to this. I want to change the way that I think. I want to feel better about myself. And I'm going to find little tools that I can use to help me every time those negative thoughts come in, whether that's using affirmations or journaling or whatever that is.
You've also said fake it till you make it. So have you done that?
Yes. So, you know, I think that sometimes we need to step into the character of our best self. So let's say that you're going to a meeting, okay, and you're feeling very nervous. Perhaps you have imposter syndrome. Perhaps you don't feel ready. Imagine in your mind, visualize the best version of you, the version of you that walks in full of confidence, the version of you that walks in and knows what they're going to say and that feels totally ready, and step into that character. and until that version of you becomes who you really are. So it's really about stepping into into your higher self.
Yeah. How important is physical fitness to achieve a state where you can manifest your thoughts and make them into reality?
Well, everything that we do is a signal to the universe of how worthy we believe we are of receiving. And our self-worth is, of course, linked to the way that we treat ourselves. And so if we are not taking care of our physical health, if we're not taking care of our bodies, what does that say? It means that we don't give ourselves the love and respect we deserve. But if we are able to look after our physical health, which obviously has such an impact on our mental health and our emotional health as well, then we're showing the universe, I believe I am worthy. And so wellness as a whole, is a really huge part of the manifesting process. It all feeds into it.
You say that manifestation enables us to reach for our goals, to cultivate self-love, and to live our best life. So two questions here. One is, how do you know what your goals are? And the second one is, how do you know you're living your best life?
You mean, your goals once you're able to get clarity on the things that you want. And that might be that in the beginning, you might just know how you want to feel about yourself 6 months from now. But for some people, really, they just know that. They just know that they want to wake up feeling more energized, more confident, healthier, happier. Other people have very specific goals. They absolutely know, I want to have this exact job. I want to make this much money next year. I want to have this kind of relationship. I think that when you start, you may know a little about what you want, you may know a lot, but either way, once you keep going on the journey and you start to evolve, your goals will become more clear to you. You'll start to feel inspired by different people. You'll start to understand your true self and what your true desires really are.
How do you know that you're living your best life?
If you are feeling content, if you're feeling empowered, if you're feeling grateful for all that you already have, you feel proud of yourself. And
that's wonderful, really, to be able to meet somebody who says that they believe in what they've written about and they've lived it and they've lived that life and reached where they want to. Roxy, what happens if you wish for something, you want it, and you manifest it, you start off on the path, I think I'm meant for something else?
Then change it. We are changing, evolving, growing every day. And that means that what you want today is not going to be the same thing that you want in a year or in 6 months. Sometimes it stays the same forever. You have a goal, a dream for life. Sometimes you don't. I think we have to allow ourselves to be flexible and honest with ourselves. Constantly check in with yourself. Am I chasing something that I don't really want anymore? That's a really important point to make.
Is there any message that you would like to give out to the hundreds and thousands of people who may not have started to start on this journey of spiritual growth, of being, of understanding that they can actually control their lives and they can change their lives? And your words might inspire.
I just think that everybody truly deserves to feel their best and deserves to know their worth. And so few of us really do, but we all deserve it. And I really hope that, everybody begins that journey to feeling better, to living a more authentic, happy and fulfilled life. And I know that absolutely everybody listening has the power to do that. And I really hope that they pick up the book and allow it to change their lives.
Yes. So I would urge everyone to pick up the book by Roxy and read it and follow the steps that she's spoken about in it. Roxy gives 7 steps in the book, and it is a very light read, unlike some of the tomes that you just don't want to go through. Follow it, apply it to your lives, and it'll be really very helpful. Thank you so much, Roxy, for being with us today. It's been a very wonderful conversation.
Thank you.